Hello and welcome to this webinar for evidence-based practice. The assessment ID is CIPD 5Core 02-2501 and the release date for this assignment is June 25. This assessment is for learners undertaking the Associate Diploma in People Management and Associate Diploma in Organisational Learning and Development. The aim of this webinar is to provide you with guidance on preparation and completion of your assessment for evidence-based practice. So before we start, let's remind ourselves and provide an overview of the unit of assessment. So the assessment considers the significance of capturing quantitative and qualitative evidence to inform meaningful insight into people practice activity. It focuses on analysing evidence through a critical lens to improve decision making and how measuring the impact of people practice is essential in creating value. Right, now I want to talk about preparing for the assessment. Obviously, you'll start with reading the assessment brief, as this outlines precisely what you're expected to do. It's useful to read over this a few times to ensure you have a clear understanding of the assessment requirements. It's also useful at this stage to read and familiarise yourself with the unit specification that align to this assessment, as this will explain the unit content in more detail. Underneath each of the unit assessment criteria, you will see the indicative content. This details the learning content for each of the ACs. Once you have read and absorbed the assignment, if you need any further clarification, don't hesitate to ask your facilitator or tutor. The assessment requires you to answer 10 questions, so read these carefully, paying close attention to the requirements of each of the command verbs. So for this assessment, you will see command verbs such as evaluate, explain, assess, appraise, interpret, present, and recommend. For the next part of preparing for the assessment, I want to talk about reviewing the relevant resources. For the Level 5 assessments, you will need to relate to academic concepts, theories, and professional practice throughout your assessment to ensure that your work is critical, evidence-based, and substantiated by key academic writers, texts, articles, and relevant publications. It's important to do this because otherwise your work will be too descriptive. Remember, all cited references should be taken from credible sources and be correctly acknowledged and presented in the bibliography at the end of your work. So for the next part of preparing for the assessment, I want to talk about reviewing the relevant resources. This is critical. Before starting the assessment, it's really important that you develop a sufficient knowledge and understanding of the subject matter. This will allow you to expand on knowledge that you already have, but also fill the gaps that you haven't. So a useful starting point is start with the learning resources section that are in the unit specification, as this will point you to the key textbooks, journals, online resources and websites that relate to this unit. Other useful resources include CIPD Insights, which I'll talk about on the next slide, surveys, fact sheets, podcasts, and any available material from key people writing and researching the subject matter you're investigating. Use key indicative textbooks as these will give you coverage of the key areas. And just one caveat, be mindful when using web-based content to ensure that it comes from a trusted, valuable source. There's a lot of spurious evidence out there that can't be trusted, but if you're not sure, please ask your tutor. The CIPD Insights. The CIPD Insights provide links to various fact sheets and guides and are included in the assessment as well as online to assist understanding of the topics relating to the assessment. You will see in the assessment brief that some of these have already been identified for you, and I would strongly recommend you start with these so it gives you a rudimentary understanding of the assessment that you're going to undertake. So now that we've covered preparing for the assessment, the next part is the actual assessment itself. What I want to start with, obviously, is the assessment case study, which sets the scene. And this is what you'll be answering your questions to. So for this assessment, you're referring to Technovara, who design and engineer components for the electronics industry, supplying parts for the computer, electronics, medical and automotive sectors. The company was founded in 1970 by Bill Swanke and is currently experiencing the 16th consecutive year of growth. So the board now feels the time is right to expand the business. Bill is very involved in day-to-day running of the company, which he likes to run in a traditional style. He tends to avoid changes to existing work practices. Sue Young is the People Practice Manager at Technovara, and although she has been with the company for 8 years, she has continued with many of the people practices that her predecessor implemented, many being paper-driven. Sue is aware that if the company doesn't change some of its practices, it will be susceptible to risky decision-making because the current approach to capturing and measuring people practices is weak and lacking data-driven evidence. She knows that you, as the People Practice Advisor, have more up-to-date experience of using evidence-based practice effectively. She has asked you to help her understand of how evidence-based practice is applied in organisations. She needs to provide Bill, the board and the rest of the People Practice team with a persuasive case for improving current approaches, as these are archaic and inadequate to meet the demands of a modern, forward-thinking workplace. Sue has asked you to complete 2 tasks. First, to respond to 7 questions below, and then to complete the data analysis and make recommendations based on your findings. The assessment. The assessment requires response to all 10 questions. Task 1 questions, which covers questions 1 to 7, has an allocated word count of 2,900 and covers ACs 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 3.1 and 3.2. Task 2 questions, covering questions 8 to 10, has a 1,000 word allocation and covers ACs 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3, including 3 different diagrammatical forms. So firstly, let's look over task 1. So let's look at each of the questions. Commencing with question 1. Question 1 requires you to evaluate the concept of evidence-based practice and provide 2 examples of where Technovara could use it to ensure sound decision-making in people practice. So for coverage of this question, firstly you are required to evaluate the concept of evidence-based practice. So let's have a quick look at what is meant by evidence-based practice. Well, in basic terms, it's about ensuring quality decisions are made based on a combination of critical thinking and high quality evidence practices, so that trusted and informed and ethical judgments are made. As you need to provide evaluation, it is essential that you elect to use credible models and theories for this, because you're judging the strengths and limitations of these models. Rational and normative rational models are likely to be obvious choices, but other models are available. So I suggest looking at the work of Briner, Russo and Briner and Behrens, as these do some quite substantive writing in this area. The second part of this question requires you to provide 2 examples where Technovara could use evidence-based practice to ensure sound decision making in people practices. So we need to consider here where we would use a range of different data sources so that similarity can be investigated. We could be using different collecting tools so that data, written response, talking to people, critical incident techniques, etc. But also we could be collecting data over time or over different periods to look at patterns and trends. But some of the practices that we're likely to use in this area could be pay and reward, disciplinaries, learning development, and promotion of candidates. So now let's look at question 2. Question 2 requires you to evaluate 1 appropriate analysis tool and 1 appropriate analysis method that Technovara might apply to recognise and diagnose issues, challenges and opportunities. So let's break this question up. So for coverage of this question, you need to evaluate the use of 1 analysis tool. So let's see what tools are available for this. So we could use, for example, environmental scanning tools such as Steeple, Pestle. We could draw on the work of Porter, who does the 5 forces, force field analysis, Ansoff's matrix, fishbone diagram, or balanced scorecard, etc. Again, consider the strengths and limitations of the tools. So for 1 method that Technovara might use, this could be interviews, observations, conducting job analysis, providing questionnaires, etc. So remember, you need to be critical against this question, so you need to include how the tool and method can be applied in the organisational context for Technovara to diagnose organisational issues, challenges and opportunities. So on to question 3. So question 3 requires you to explain the main principles of critical thinking, including how these might apply to your own and others' ideas to assist objective and rational debate at Technovara. So let's just look at this in terms of humans. Basically, humans are clouded with belief, different intellectual processes, they have perceptual blocks, they have emotions, they often have cultural scripts, lots of personal biases, and sometimes we'll see that they can't separate fact from fiction and often drive personal agendas. So examples that you might draw on to actually eliminate or minimize this is allowing for critical self-awareness, development of objective decision-making, rational thinking and well-reasoned arguments, ensuring validity and reliability of evidence by bouncing ideas off different people from different strengths, triangulation testing of information, and awareness of bias. So, question 4. Question 4 requires you to explain 2 decision-making processes that Technovara could apply to ensure that effective outcomes are achieved. So, for this question, you are required to explain 2 decision-making processes. Broadly, these are problem-solving processes. So, the work of Edward de Bono on his 6 thinking hats and lateral thinking would be useful here. Drawing on the importance of action learning groups when planning and problem solving, using Pareto analysis might be a useful tool to actually involve a process that helps eliminate some biases when planning. You also need to describe to Technovara how the processes that you're using are applied in context to ensure that they achieve effective outcomes. Question 5. Here you're required to assess 2 different ethical perspectives, including how these could be used at Technovara to inform and influence decision making. So let's break this question up. So for this question, firstly, you need to assess 2 different ethical frameworks. So here you're providing the strengths and limitations of your chosen ethics. You could draw on teleological ethics and utilitarianism, or Kantian rights-based deontological ethics. The second part of this question requires you to explain how your choices can be used in Technovara to inform and influence decision making. Again, this is the moral compass that HR or people practitioners have. So ensuring that the right decisions are made in terms of virtue and morality, particularly in many of the ethical issues that are encountered within the day-to-day running of people practices. Question 6. For this question, you are required to appraise 2 different ways that Technovara could measure financial and non-financial performance, providing 1 example of each. So firstly, let's look at financial performance measuring. So some basic approaches that could be taken here is reference to the balance sheet. The balance sheet provides people professionals with a snapshot of the state of finances in terms of their assets, liabilities and equity. The main purpose of the balance sheet is that it allows understanding of transactions over a given period of time and lets you know really how much money or budget you have and how much deficit you have accumulated. Another area is the income statement. The income statement shows profit and loss over a given period of time. The other choice could be a cash flow statement. Again, cash flow statement provides financial information that summarises the amount of cash entering and leaving the department or the organisation. So now let's look at non-financial performance measures. Basically, these could be customer satisfaction rates, particularly remember employees are customers, so this could be satisfaction rates from employees within the company. Another example could be measuring the quality of any learning and development activities that have been applied in Technovara. Finally, it could be measuring the exit interview data. Question 7. Here you need to explain how people practices could add value at Technovara and identify 2 methods that might be used to measure the impact of these people practices. So for this question, I'm going to break it up into 2. So the first part, you need to provide Technovara with explanation of how people practices could add value. Let's stop and think about the role that people professionals carry out in fostering value creation for an organisation. In simple terms, we could say this is the people performance link. So, in broad terms, it's about ensuring that people practices, the policies and the procedures align to the overall business strategy and plan. So let's have a look at some areas. So, firstly, business planning. People practitioners monitor and check supply and demand, which links to workforce planning. Building capability. This is done by identification of current and future skills and competencies for Technovara. Recruitment. Supply, careful selection and hiring of employees through processes such as checking job design, advertising, take-up, financial costs and branding, etc. Employee relations. Ensuring that there's a healthy employee relations climate, such as making sure that people policies and practices are applied and executed in a fair and standardised way. Also, it's about ensuring that Technovara remains compliant with current and incoming legislation. Providing insight into performance and reward to check both departments and employees are performing and being rewarded against their KPIs and the overall business strategy. Mechanisms for capturing voice to gain insight into the views and opinions on work matters and information sharing. Now, for the second part of this question, you need to provide two methods that might be used to measure the impact of people practices. Here you might consider methods such as cost-benefit analysis, return of investment, staff surveys, benchmarking, HR KPIs and metrics to measure employee well-being, diversity and inclusion, health and safety, scorecard, etc. Now let's look at task 2, which is a quantitative and qualitative analysis review. You'll see within task 2, Sue has provided you with two sets of data. Table 1, which is quantitative data on turnover and recruitment for 2024, and Table 2, which is qualitative evaluation data from a learning and development activity. So, question 8. Table 1 shows Technovara's turnover and recruitment data for 2024. So for coverage of this question, Sue has asked you to convert the data into percentage form for each of the departments to show leavers as a percentage of the total number of employees, vacancies as a percentage of the total number of employees, positions filled as a percentage of the total number of employees. It's worth noting here, you do not need to provide a reference or an in-text citation for AC 2.1. Question 9. On completion of Table 1's requirements in Question 8, you now need to present your findings using a minimum of 3 different types of diagrammatical forms. Now that you have converted the data into percentage form, you now need to display your converted data into diagrammatical forms so it can be easily understood. Pie charts and bar charts are usual choices when displaying quantitative types of data. And finally, question 10, you'll see Table 2 contains evaluative feedback from 42 employees who attended a recent learning and development activity. Sue would like you to review the feedback in Table 2 and identify patterns, themes or trends that might be illuminated or occurring and present recommendations based on your findings. The data contained in Table 2 is qualitative, so you need to capture understanding of the views and perceptions of what the data is telling you. At this point of the webinar, I just want to run over some important housekeeping requirements. So ensure that you remain compliant with the word count allocation on the assessment, and also familiarise yourself with the word count policy. You are allowed a plus minus 10% on these allocated words, but you must ensure that you don't go over this, as this is likely to incur a referral. Before submitting your assessment, it's useful to get it proofread to check for mistakes and typographical errors. You'll also see in the assignment brief that there's an answer checklist. I would strongly advise that you actually go over this to see that you've addressed all the requirements of the questions at the end prior to submission. Also, remember and check that all sources that you've drawn upon are correctly cited and acknowledged alphabetically in a reference and bibliography list at the end of your work. You must include a declaration of authentication. You also must include a true signature and include a submission date. Which leaves me finally to say, I hope you found this webinar useful and it's provided you with the necessary support and guidance in preparing and completing your assessment. Good luck